Hey there, fuckers, and welcome to summertime. Can you believe it? This month, we've been talking about PTSD prevention. We can't stop ourselves from experiencing traumas, but what can we do to protect ourselves from long term psychic and emotional disordering in the aftermath? We dove into research, going beyond the reductive societal risk and resiliency factors that more or less amount to be a privileged man, and you'll be finer than the rest. And instead teased apart the best actions that we can take for helping ourselves to help ourselves, including taking a good hard look at what we can expect in peri-traumatic times. That means actively in trauma, and how those automatic reactions seem to coincidentally correspond with strength, survival, and resiliency factors, suggesting that many of the ways we are biologically programmed to respond are surprisingly course tuned for keeping ourselves afloat during and afterwards, as long as we mind our minds, apply critical oversight, and choose non-avoidant, non-dissociative, social but not codependent behaviors. That is. There's a lot to say, and we hit a handful of papers to do it, piecing together what the research seems to have failed to produce, and noting the individual basis of trauma recovery, which cannot be simplified to continuous human contact or try CBT. So I share with you today a stunningly brief summary of what we found in the 5-part series, Behaviors to Prevent PTSD. For more help, including micro-behavioral examples for self-stress support, come hang out in the private Patreon zone, and let's get trauma recovery granular. So, fuckers, here is your report from the month of May. And stay safe out there, recognizing that some days it might feel like you're supporting your stress sanity one behavior at a time. Okay, fuckers. Let's do a quick rundown of behaviors to prevent PTSD from all the research we've been doing. If you're interested in specific examples, check out the sister post on the small actions I've been taking post 2 varieties of trauma running concomitantly. From the literature, though, we have learned these broad strokes. Exercise. Stay associated with your body, identity, memories, and experience. Don't get avoidant. Don't drink or drug because, again, that disassociative avoidance is a debilitating way to almost guarantee later PTSD. Engage in balanced socializing. Don't over-lean on others, but also don't over-pull your own weight in the relationship or overindulge in distractive communications just to not be present. Focus on establishing structures in your life, not work. Focus on routines. Focus on taking actions that feel purposeful, not work. Focus on meaning over money, as much as one practically reasonably can. Do your nervous system work. Bring yourself up or down as needed to keep things balanced. Do your narrative efforts as well, including CPT, CBT, and resulting cognitive reappraisals. A quick shortcut for CBT is asking, why did I just do that? Over and over and over again. You identify the motivating emotion or thought, reprocess it, rework the overarching story you're telling yourself, and you've just done the work. Note your risk factors, the ongoing stress points in your life, and provide self-compassion. Go slow. Anything else is avoidance masquerading as being productive, as we've been taught to do. Allow for doing nothing and flow behaviors, because this is actually when you're processing things. Ask for help with resources of all variety and try to manage yours. Post-trauma, there often will be expenses. However, don't take that as a reason to blow your savings account. You'll regret it later. Aim for somatic experiencing to work the trauma out of your meat. As a shortcut, I recommend trying to feel into your feet. Sleep. Get all the rest that you can, even if your sleep pattern is disrupted. Watch for black and white thoughts. Recalibrate them towards the gray tones, which acknowledge the good and the bad both existing at once. This includes thinking, finally, it's all over, or finally, it's all over. Anticipation of outright good or negative forthcoming events can, and probably will, set you up for another trauma, or it will extend the same one. The reality is, life's a hike, and at least you've got well-treaded boots. Note points of self-agency and action that took place within the trauma. This will protect and rebuild your esteem. Beware of inflammation and immune functioning. Sickness is likely after a nervous system disruption. Modify diet towards whole foods, rest, drink water, consume antioxidants, minerals, vitamins, and probiotics. Engage in honest and accurate assessment of when it's over. It may not be over when the local refs try to call the game. Do not pressure yourself to believe their judgments, but do look for pauses or terminations between traumatic events. Notice social influences and manage your engagement with them. Their stress predispositions are transmissible. You don't want to collect more anxiety from a social companion than you're already carrying. And use boundaries, which might become clearer during and after the trauma to create self-supportive space for you. To wrap it all together, pre-trauma, it helps to be socially protected so that a negative event is not the single factor between being okay and being resourceless. The old, most Americans are one missed paycheck away from houselessness sentiment is a problematic one that sets us up for PTSD, emotionality, and practicality. This is where community and independence from societal pressures come in. We must create our own protective circumstances socially and in our lifestyles before big disastrous events. And remember, those of us in the CPTSD community generally do not come equipped with these things, or else we wouldn't have the CPTSD. Peri-trauma, we need the brain-body system to operate. There will be times our physicalities are overwhelmed and cognitive functioning needs to take over. There are times our mentalities will be overwhelmed, so body wisdom needs to be put in the driver's seat. Building up grounding, centering, nervous system regulation, and attention managing skills before traumatic events will help mightily once they start to go down. And post-trauma, We need to stay associated with ourselves, meaning our bodies and the timelines we live on. Avoidance of body, of identity, and of memory is damaging because we will eventually need to come back to those things. So it's better to titrate your exposure to them throughout rather than to dive back into a burning house way down the road. Also, we need to be able to rely on our communities for resource support and mundane reality pressure relief. We need to process in our own time, which means getting back to normal functioning with minimal time out should not be our focus. This doesn't measure strength. It measures how successfully we've been conditioned to avoid our feelings and perform for others. And we need time, space, and emotional energy to create stories that actually reflect not only what happened, but how we estimate ourselves versus our place in the world. The earthquake took away everything because I am powerless on this dusty rock is a PTSD encouraging narrative. The earthquake took away everything because natural disasters happen, and humans across history show amazing resilience in recovering from these setbacks when they are able to survive, like I did, is an accurate, neutral, positive, healing place to start. There are so many things we can do to help ourselves before adult traumas take place that we didn't have the resources or autonomy or education for when we were children. We can't stop trauma from taking place. We can't erase societal pressure points, adverse living experiences. But we can prime our brains and bodies to respond to threats in the most beneficial ways possible. And as post-traumatic growth research tells us, we can even come out better on the other side thanks to our efforts, educations, and applicable intellect as we find new meaning and purpose on the other end of trauma. Till we meet again to continue the conversation, hail yourself, hail your healing, hail Archie, and cheers, friends.